Alright friends, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord related. Welcome back to Bannerlord 1.4 and the overhaul mod that we continue to explore. We'll put up the screen here, Nightmare Sails. Now, there's a bunch of changes that come with this overhaul mod. There's everything from balancing changes to more challenging lords, unique bandits, there's unique troops, there's all kinds of changes to Warsails and Bannerlord with this update, and so far so good. We've experienced an extraordinary layer of stability as well. There don't seem to be any glaring issues whatsoever. Of course, we've only been playing for a couple hours now, but no bugs, no real issues here. And I think we'll sack this village here while we begin our intro here. Give us some recruits. The Battanians don't like that. We'll throttle these villagers real quick here. I've got to pick up a little bit of equipment. I'm trying to do most of this off camera, but I am going to be occasionally running to town to pick up this item or that item. And of course, most of these villagers are going to be slaughtered something fierce. We could do a reverse slope decline here, but I don't think we need to. We can just put our archers out front and bring our infantry up here to blast this little Battanian force. Now, the units are so different in this game that it's probably going to take me 3, 4, 5 episodes just to not just explore, but also learn some of the shortcomings of our army, of my character, of our approach here, right? The approach that we're taking might not be optimal for the game. I swear I'm seeing fire arrows. I could be wrong. I don't think so, though. I don't know. Definitely not all the arrows are on fire, but you see that? Somebody's firing a fucking taser through here. It feels like one of those military scenes where, you know, they're firing rounds, and of course they use the tasers to help them shoot. That's what it feels like right here. And that's an interesting change, too. I'm not sure how that's happening. I don't know if that's built into the vanilla version or what, but very interesting. Yeah, we'll still cover a lot of the processes that are helpful for people in their campaigns here. This campaign should have multiple uses. We're definitely getting a new shield. Fucking this carrying around this pizza tray, it's not gonna fucking work. It doesn't block shit. It feels like the Battanian shields are too small by like a magnitude of 3. It feels like they're about half the normal size of other shields. We're not going. It looks stupid too. It looks like it's awkward for him to carry. So that little rant aside here, you know, this campaign should be beneficial even if you just want to learn some Bannerlord tips. We'll talk about flanking. We'll talk about unit composition, army composition. We'll talk about managing companions and stuff like and such forth. So let's go get a new shield, so I don't complain for the next half hour. These episodes I'll try to keep between 35 and 45 minutes, somewhere in that range. Try to truncate things pretty quickly. And we are running a handful of mods, more like a couple mods that'll help us from a speed perspective. You know what? I got to remember this part. We need to keep these. It doesn't actually matter. These Battanian units are gonna route. How we say route? They're gonna desert. Right? These guys here with the new system, they have a pre-programmed essential routing process. Your non-Sturgeon forces, whatever your kingdom is, your enemy forces out there are going to be programmed to effectively desert from your army, right? They don't dig it. We got stinky Sturgeons according to these Battanians, and they don't want to fight with us. I'm gonna keep this nice big shield. There is, you know, size matters when it comes to shields, and you know, literally a little shield, it doesn't seem to block as much, and the bigger shields are a little heavier sometimes, but I honestly think bigger is better for sure when it comes to shields. So anyway, so our Battanian units are going to desert unless we find a Battanian wife. That is one of the cool parts about Warsails, about Nightmare Sails, that your wife brings along essentially the ability to recruit and retain troops from different kingdoms, right? Look at this power bar, right? This is no joke. We can get beat up here. Every single one of these battles where the power bar is close, I figure we have a decent chance of losing, because you don't know what you're facing here, right? I don't really know what we're up against. I see a mixed army here, right? I don't see an automatic win for us. Cavalry, archers. They're coming at us. Anytime you're facing bandits, they usually come at you. They have no discipline. they take advantage of that shit. We'll spread out our units here a little bit. Got cavalry roaring up, and you know, ordinarily I'd say let's form shield walls over here, skirmishers over here with their shields out in front. Doesn't work like that, right? Because they have different equipment. They have, you just can't have the same expectations with this mod than you do for vanilla. So a new world for sure for players like me, a new level, a new layer of difficulty. Although, still some of the not so terrific, we'll call it not optimized AI, right? These guys just ran in and got obliterated. The rest of their forces are trying to catch up, and all the cavalry's already dead. Let's just whiz through the rest of this. The rest of their forces here are pretty toast. We've got a nice little ridge to hide behind here. Now, we've got some units with no shields. I'm going to have to make a no shield division. You know, your normal functionality of splitting divisions is still going to be helpful for Nightmare Sails because, of course, you don't want your guys with no shields out in front taking all these lethal javelins. It does look like a lot of the units have throwing weapons, just like vanilla Warsails. And I'll tell you, it's also hard to narrate because I'm observing so much different shit and I want to talk about it all. My mind is going 1,000 miles an hour. I'm obviously just going to do the best we can here. But this is wild, right? Everything I'm seeing is totally foreign. These are wild ones, I think. And they've got a spear. They're trying to use their javelins like spears. And we're winning, but we're hardly crushing them here, right? The power bar tells you all you need to know. That's a Sciparda. Now, what I'm hoping from this is that we get some great javelins. Of course, our army is going to be a skirmisher army. We're definitely going to pick up some nice gear here from these enemy forces. They look like lords, but those are just fiend champions. And this battle is hardly over. We've got a bunch of scrubby troops here, and this is exactly what I mean. You just don't know what to expect. It feels essential that I survive, and I didn't. And the enemy on some level here has a reverse slope decline because we're charging over at a bunch of archers. Our archers can't see. I had to run for 45 seconds just to fire. Now this guy's got the fire arrows. This guy, I don't know who this is. If this is one of our companions or what. He looks like a dumbass. But he definitively has fire arrows. And it dawns on me, I don't think I've ever associated that with that, but there's like, isn't there like burning arrows or something? Isn't that an equipment? I did not know that this was built into the game. I swear I've never seen fire arrows with vanilla Bannerlord, but I mean, obviously we've got fire arrows here. Interesting. And I'm pretty sure that was our companion dude here. Where's his name? I think it's this guy here. But all's well that ends well, even though we had a ton of death there. We lost some good troops, too. This is nice, though. Pick up a bunch of Britannian prisoners. We're going to have to sell some of those guys. All right, more nice equipment. We can replace our scuzzy leather. That's definitely going to help us survive soon. Give somebody that axe. You know, we got rusty tapered blades and shit like that. Early in a campaign, like every single spot is a good opportunity for you to get some upgrades. I don't pay much attention to events. A lot of people think they're great, or it seems like a lot of people appreciate and enjoy them. I just wish there was a lot more dynamism, you know, increased morale, do this and that. I think they should be a lot more impactful to the game, right? There are some very impactful quests, but a lot of them, it just seems like it's meh. It just, you know, you get like one free troop or something like that. I think it should be like your troops demand double their wages for the next 2 years. Otherwise, half of them are going to rout, you know, where there's like significant events along the way. I think that would be really interesting. I think there should be, you know, late game campaign stuff. A plague is ripping through the Sturgeon Empire, right? Do you blow up these 2 cities to prevent the plague from spreading to try to prevent the plague from spreading to the rest of your empire, or do you just let the plague rip through? You know, I think there were a bunch of different people that had good ideas on Reddit, and they were talking about just late game shit. You should have a rebellion sweep across the map in Bannerlord, where all of a sudden there's hundreds or even thousands of rebels in different armies attacking and causing carnage, where you have to stop what you're doing and maybe even ally with other kingdoms to put down the rebellion. I think there's a number of different events that would be cool if they programmed in. But to this stage, of course, we're waiting for stuff like that. Maybe we'll have to wait for mod makers. And man, a big hug for you mod makers, man. This Jarl Snow, even just the improvements he made to Siege within 1.4. Anybody who played 1.4 experienced the siege process, where it's now somewhat monotonous. Oops, shit, that was really dumb. Just spent all our money. Well, now, of course, you get loot in between the sieges, and you can download mods that Jarl Snow and others are bringing out for Bannerlord to make it better. One of the mods that Jarl Snow made was essentially, it makes it so that the enemy is much less likely to rout. You know, as they're getting the shit kicked out of them, they won't just insta-rout as soon as they lose a siege tower or something like that. And I've got to sell shit just to be able to afford this shield. I do like the Sturgeon shields. A lot of guys don't like the Sturgeon shields. I do. I think they're great. I think they have a huge coverage area. Pick yourself up as a Sturgeon shield and stand in a shield wall line, and I think you'll come to appreciate them more. All right, we need money. We need action here. I've got too many prisoners. I guess we can donate some prisoners for money, right? When you got two different problems and they solve each other. We can sell them to this 12-year-old here. I think this is the guy we looked at. Yeah, look at this. This is another kid, 18 years old, and he's coming out. He's already super athletic and shit like that. I think it's terrific. Donate some prisoners here. Of course, most of them deserted. I need money. We might need to refresh our mercenary contract too. As you go through the clan tiers, you want to upgrade that mercenary contract. They'll pay you more. Sometimes you can get vastly more. If war conditions have changed and or the kingdom has acquired a bunch of money, sometimes you get a lot more. And do these quests. Actually, let's do this. I like doing this sometimes. Let's send this guy off. I want to look at his arrows, so I'm not going to send him. We'll send this guy. Quests to me are a really good way to just defer troops. We'll get those troops later. Maybe we get captured and then those troops come back. You can get a lot of different instances where those troops are really helpful. Now let's look at this guy. See what the... It's not coming from him. Gotta be here. Right? Legendary burning arrows. So they're literally burning. Now they're lower damage. I should do this, right? But that's interesting. Like our guy is firing arrows that burn on the battlefield. Huh. Did not know that was a thing. All right. There's got to be some shit we can kill. And here, it's interesting. You know, we're not allied with the Northern Empire, but this is the kind of siege you can sneak into. There's 800 Battanians sieging there. I'll tell you one thing. There seems like there's a ton of action. There's 2,000 Sturgeons over here going berserk. I've basically got my pick of the litter of what I want to participate in. This is tempting. Even though we're not part of the Empire, all those kills we would get in a siege defense there, we would get, right? In fact, these guys, we want you. I don't know what Forest Bandits are. I know in vanilla, Forest Bandits are really good units. I'll corner these brigands here. That looks like a woman. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the eyes with that. But that's fucking cool looking. A Forest Reaper. Right? And again, you've got these new units. This is a tier 5. Yeah. Now we just want prisoners here. I don't want to fight them. Let's just collect some prisoners here. We can recruit them. We'll take some Forest Reapers. That is definitely new equipment too, right? If you didn't catch that, there's a bunch of new equipment that have been put into this by Jarl Snow. Grafted, hooded, bear head, right? And so you get this new flavor of equipment as well. It's great. All right. Let's see here. 246, 824. We've got hardly any troops here. Oh shit, never mind. They're sieging a Battanian castle. We're not participating in that. I was thinking that was a Battanian force sieging. We want to be in siege defense, not offense. You can do offense in the mercenary stage, but it's usually highly detrimental to you. You're going to get hammered with weapons and hammered with skirmishers while you're trying to climb into a city with your 22 troops. Not advisable. Guess we can control some of these villagers here. It's a pretty automatic thing at this stage of the mercenary process. Your tier 1 choice troops to pick on is your militia. I think we'll do these kind of in a hurry. We'll use the RTS mod consistently through these because these are, not only is it the exact same village, but they, you know, these units have no chance against us. They're put here as like basically a placeholder for the real challenges that are coming later in the campaign.
Crew, forward! Warrior arms length apart!
Don't think we'll fight too many of these units here in this campaign.
Move forward!
Similar functionality does work, right? Just like what we were doing earlier with the bandits. Distract, right? Bring your guy up, try to pull some of the attention away. That way a lot of these guys aren't heading towards your troops. Do we have to do this? No, but look at the power bar, right? There's a pretty good amount of militia here. And some of the militia is pretty strong, right? Some of these guys are tier 3. For all I know, there's tier 4 militia. Right, so by doing that, we buy our troops a little bit of time to close. We've got a bunch of scrubs in our army here. We're probably going to suffer some serious losses. Went right through the guy's shoulder. Our line here is breaking apart to this militia. Veteran spearmen, right? These are tier 3 militia, and these guys are no joke. These guys definitely will wreck your day. At least I got a little bigger shield here. They get even bigger than this. I don't think this is the biggest sturgeon shield. Good overall result for us here. 12 death. I think that's mostly scrubs. Yeah, Imperial recruits. We're losing a lot of our recruits. That's all right. Yeah, another one of those broke-ass shields. No thanks. Now we get some troops, some free troops to replace them. But again, those Battanians are not going to stay with us. So when you make sallies into enemy territory, you got to kind of do so with the understanding that, you know, you're going to, oh shit, we're fucked. We're absolutely fucked. Coming towards us, we're completely fucked. How come I can't move? Is it the snow? Disorganized. Yeah, attack those looters, you dipshit. You got to love the AI, right? Artificial imbecility in progress here. These deserters bail, or these looters allow us to bail. Right around the corner there. How come we can't see too? Is our scout? Oh, we don't have our scout assigned. I was like, how come my sight distance here is so bad? We got to get that scout developing his skills. We're not working on scouting, right? And so we're leaving it up to that scout. Where's this guy at? Right here. And he's fucking naked. Man. Your visual is critical early in a Bannerlord campaign. If you can't see, you're fucked, right? Exactly what happened right there. Your forces are going to be like right around the corner. They're going to jump your shit. There's the one that knocks their cavalry. Yeah, dismount their cavalry. Let's put some guys on their back. We probably want that lower one. All right. Let's keep working on our athleticism here, and let's do this. I want to get to the 250 javelin perk as soon as I can. I got to keep running here. Right? These Battanians here are probably going to run us down. I feel really slow. Let me look at this shit. We shouldn't be that slow. Prisoners. Snow. All right. We can't handle 150 yet, right? Especially, look at that shit. He's got veteran Falksmen, wildlings. We're going to have to play KG early in a campaign. Right now, in vanilla, I would be attacking enemy lords. Right? This guy's fucked. This guy's going to get slammed. We'll see how many attack. We're going to have a hard time making a big impact in a campaign. That looked like 20 something. Yeah, we're going to participate here. The nice thing here is this is prisoners of plenty. Anytime you see a situation like that, you want to come in afterwards. Usually shows it. Look at the bottom there. He's got 25 prisoners, right? So this guy's running off and he's just sacked all those Battanians. You want to come in here and wipe these guys out. And I think we'll fight this too. And we get the RTS mod to cruise through this, but I don't want to suffer 20 losses here in the auto-resolve. I think we'll save after this battle too. I haven't had a crash, but you hate having a crash here and losing like an hour's worth of content. It's about the only way that we'll reload this campaign, so we're not going to save scum. I probably have to take a little different approach with our infantry, right? I'm putting them out in front, shield wall fellas, and half of them don't have shields. Right? This is going to be suboptimal until we get our army built up a little bit here. Let's have our cavalry attack these little mounted skirmishers. Yeah, power bar shows you that we're going to be able to rip this enemy apart. We're going to do most of this kind of fast. And look at those mounted skirmishers go to work. Man, they made javelin throwers so lethal now. And I do think it is unbalanced, right? This is something, it's not the build here of this mod. They just made the accuracy. It's hard to throw javelins, and these motherfuckers are dead-eye. They're super accurate throwing javelins from a horse or from foot there, right? That's a guy that just drilled me on a horse, no problem, at 30 fucking 40 meters or something like that, right? I've got a lot of experience throwing javelins myself, and I'm very happy when I pull that off. But the AI seems to do it left and right. Yeah, you're coming with us. Yeah, shut the... You're definitely coming with us. And beautiful, right? This guy, these are all the troops that he had, right? And they're like, are we free? Yeah, as long as you fight for us. And we've got a hired marine. We got more unique units here. Okay. We'll take it all. And a host of prisoners. This is good. We're getting rich slowly here. Still kind of walking gingerly, right? Oh shit, we just hit clan tier 2. So that's a beautiful sign. I'm going to start bending towards shields with our troops here. Any of the troop lines that I can bend towards shields, it's pretty clear we need to do that, given how many of the enemy forces are chucking javelins and shooting lethal arrows. At least we got some health here. And how many forces can we get? 90? 96. Right, clan tier 2. Cruising right along. And we're making good money now. We can pick up another companion. Now these, I think they're engaging there. Let's go take a peek. Smells like opportunity. Nah, I hate the Imperial Caravan Guards. Although, let's take a peek, right? They might be changed. Their crossbow units, a lot of guys are like, yeah, they're great. I think they're garbage. I think mounted crossbow is one of the worst units in the game. They don't do much damage. They're slow. They have these two awkward weapons. And I'm not nitpicking the mod here. I just think this is not a mercenary you want. I pass. I want a bigger shield, though. None of these places have big shields. We got plenty of food. In fact, we got too much food. The Imperial troops will desert as well, right? Those forces are not going to stay with us, and these Northern Empire forces are getting attacked. They're getting destroyed. Yeah, they have no chance. They're pouring in there. Let's go recruit more shit. Right, let's go pick up more troops. We might be able to catch a Battanian force that's on the way there, but I still don't think we can handle a look at engaging, right? These guys are thrilled to engage. However, this is an automatic situation you should engage in if you have a force like we do. We have archers. We have skirmishers, right? We have, and this is why I think you carry archers early in a campaign. It's a huge advantage. Make sure we have that banner. We picked up this banner last episode from, what was it? It was from the big battle outside
You want to tell me who?
that castle. And having a speed banner here is enormously important, right? We're just going to kite this guy into the dust. Now, I bet these units are changed here, right? The hand has, what are the hand? They got like puppeteer? I can't remember. Is it this? I think so. Yeah. Soldati, and these guys have no shield. Now, it does look like they have even more throwing knives. I don't remember if that's vanilla. But they have no fucking shield, right? Their whole army here has no shields. This is just yum yum for an army like ours, especially with tactics. And you don't have to be super advanced with tactics. You just need a battlefield where you can kite. We have a perfect setup here. We're just going to kite our units into the dust. They have no chance here. Now we'll put one division back far at the beginning, and then one unit can be closer, and these can be our better archers. And here's how you do it. You put your guy in charge of them with that speed banner, and now we can kite with those guys easily. The rest of our infantry, we're just going to have way back here, right? These guys are going to sort of meet the enemy in the middle after we're ripping them to pieces here. Now, I can use a little bit of cavalry up front, and I can drag another division. The reason we're going to do this, of course, is that we can distract a little bit and pull some of their forces away. They came at us. They're going to attack. We can hit this button, I think, until they're 100 meters away. And right about here, our archers should start firing, right? You want to make sure you got good line of sight here. Those guys can shield wall. No shields, right? Wait. I see shields. I'm confused as fuck. Maybe some of their units have shields. I guess this might fail, especially if they throw enough kitchen knives into me. But we still can kite, right? Even shields alone don't prevent them from being carved apart. If they have shields, how you want to kite, of course, is opposite of your archer division, right? I got one archer division over there, and we run the opposite way here, basically forcing the enemy to choose which direction they get shot in the back. They're going to get shot in the back. It's just a question of from which direction. And instead, they're choosing kind of to run down the middle of the battlefield here. Let's put these guys opposite as well, basically up on the hill. And the AI doesn't know how to handle this, right? The AI will not split units very regularly. It will sometimes just scatter. They'll go in every single direction, but most of the time, they just kind of freak out, wet the bed like this, and get massacred. These guys have a speed bait, right? Those guys aren't going to get caught anytime soon. And from a RTS perspective, the enemy's firmly in the middle of all these different units. The only kills here are cavalry that are, I think they were still in shield wall, so they're moving slowly. Let's just put one division of cav up there. Yeah, charge with our archers is one of the easiest ways to make them move in on the enemy, right? The enemy's they're moving way too far from our archers, so you can just charge with your archers. Just have to have that good situational awareness, right? We need to make sure they don't overcharge. Right now they're starting to get within throwing range, so just back these guys up. Or charge with that infantry here. These guys can help finish them off and hopefully pile up the upgrades. Bring this cavalry back in here, and the enemy is just frantically running back and forth, trying to figure out what to attack. By the time our infantry get up there, they're going to be just ripped to pieces. Got a few kills on our cavalry. It's interesting. You know, I just assumed all these units would have no shields. It must be their tier 1 that have shields. Oh, or tier 2. And I just remembered. All your minor clans, they're not tier 3, 2, 3, and 4, right? What are they? Right? Remember? 3, 4, 5, right? So your minor clans are no joke. That's why this guy was like, yeah, we engage. You're dead, man. And some of these fucking units definitely have shields. Did not see this coming. I think there also might be different unit models. Basically, not only, you know, are there different units within the game of Bannerlord, but some of them have different unit model. Basically, there's 2 or 3 that fall under the same unit, and some of them must have shields. Because I'm looking at, yeah, that's their highest tier, and we just looked at them, and these guys did not have shields, and now they do. Right? They're probably going to move fast. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here a second from now, but if the mod has added that as well, you see an immense amount of effort that's been put into this. Let's look at this real quick. Up at here. And this is what I mean down here, right? This is what I saw. I'm like, oh, they have no shields, right? These guys are cooked. Yeah, but you come down here, look at this is set 2. Set 3 must have a shield, right? And so this is a really good change, because what this means is that your puppeteers don't have this just giant glaring weakness. They're no longer just a bunch of shielded dipshits. They're now viable, right? I look at this and I say, this is another way that this mod really helps the base game, because these guys are almost worthless. This guy right here, even though he's tier 5, is a dipshit. He's got a fucking giant helmet on. He can't see anything. He's throwing kitchen knives around. He has no shield. Shields in Bannerlord are super important. And a tier 5 unit without a shield, unless they have unbelievably offensive abilities, pass. But this is a whole nother animal here, right? This guy's got the full complement. So another way that this mod is improved. You're my prisoner now. Come with us. In fact, we'll take a few of these dipshits, right? You don't want the guys that don't have shields, but maybe we'll get a few of the guys that have shields. And your minor clans won't desert, I don't think. Your Batanians, your Asteroid forces, right? When you're playing Sturgia, you can't count on them staying with you, but your minor clans should stay with you, right? Your bandits, I think, will stay with you as well. I don't think there were changes made to that aspect of the game. And I still got to be careful here, right? We're right next to enemy territory, but it's really tempting. So is this. .34 Legionary. This guy's got an elite force. We're probably going to get killed. Probably going to get captured. The village here might be involved as well. He's running. We don't want to be the one caught here. 210, 230. Let's avoid for now. Oh shit. We might be in trouble here. He's definitely captured. Swarmed by Batanians, and we might be in trouble too. They're all swarming him because he did some raiding. I might use this city here of Epicrotia as like a nice little base. We can just do some guerrilla warfare here and try to take out targets at the margin of the battlefield here, right? The Batanians are swarming. This guy's attacking us? Looked like he was thinking about it. I think it's... Yeah, he says he's running from us. Should be... You better run from us. You're gonna get thwacked. Alright, yeah, biggest thing anytime you're in a situation like this is having great situational awareness and an escape route. As a wildland firefighter, we're taught constantly, and of course, that's something I did early in my fire career. That's heavy duty work. We're taught constantly to have an escape route. What that means essentially is if the fire blows up, if wind conditions change, if something essentially becomes extremely dangerous on the fire ground, you make sure that you know where you're going, right? If I'm chased here by a bunch of Batanians, I'm going to Flinthold Castle. Here's a great example, right? If this guy turns towards us, I'm going to run towards either Neviansk or Mazadon Castle, right? You have basically an out. You want to be able to get the hell out of a bad situation here. Now, there's enough distance here, and this guy's not paying any attention, that I think I could wipe out his friend here. It's another one of the hand guys. So, you know, it's real life advice that most of you don't need. You're probably not going to be dealing with the wildfire. If you are, fucking get out of there. Go downhill, right? Find some water. Find some open areas that are already burned out. But you know, if you're in Bannerlord and you're in the mercenary stage and you don't like being captured, which is all of us, find yourself an area like this where you can do this guerrilla warfare and pick your targets, right? Choose your targets wisely, and then just rack up fucking accolades, rack up loot, and get all kinds of benefits from picking off these weaker forces, right? This will be even faster than the last battle because they have a lot less troops. It's still, we can see the same dynamic is at play here, right? They're probably going to have some shields that I don't expect, so. Even though it's 45 guys here. And they should be attacking us. They might, I guess they might play defensive, but you almost never see that. They are! This is hilarious. There's a bunch of infantry, and they're going to try to hold the line here. Well, ain't going to work so hot for you.
Get moving!
It'd be like Afghanistan infantry tactics with their AK-47 against an A-10 Warthog. It's not going to work super well for them. And there are the shields again, right? There's not a lot of shields. Remember, it's only 1 in 3 of the models, and I think those models are random, effectively. But they have some shields, right? They're not helpless. Ordinarily, these units are absolutely helpless. I think now they're only slightly helpless.
Forward!
And to their little credit, right? To these little R2-D2 head, bucket head credit, they're trying to survive here, even though obviously they can't win.
Move out!
My javelin throwing sucks. Saw that one coming and I just ate it. Hey, you get a defensive opponent that's just going to sit up on the ridge, just pound him with ammo. Especially don't want our archers here getting hit with ammo. I think we can just charge here. We're getting a little too cute. Oh, shit. Reminds me of one of my favorite quotes of all time. It's actually a baseball quote, but it's good for life too. And it's by Sandy Alomar Jr., who was a really good catcher. No, none of you give a shit about that. You're like, what's a catcher? He was a Cleveland Indian catcher, back when you could say Cleveland Indian. And one of his favorite quotes that I like is, this game, of course, baseball is hard, Bannerlord is hard. This game is about those who have been humbled and those who are about to be humbled. And you're reminded of that anytime you try to take on units with your little level 11 character in Warsails or in Nightmare Sails. And look at this. Talk about the jackpot here. I mean, this is a mega power leveling event. And this is, again, why you're doing this guerrilla warfare. We could handle now 150 battalions, at least in the short term. Remember, we're going to lose some of these units to desertion. These skirmishers, these Imperial units here are probably going to desert. And we're over our prison limit here. I'm going to try to run to a castle and dump some of these guys off. I think we need to renew our mercenary contract too. We'll show you that process. There's not much point in taking Battanian prisoners, but we're also, pretty soon here, we're going to start looking to mail order a Battanian bride. I am going to join the Battanians here. They're right here. I'm not going to get too cute with the selection. This is good from a horse. Let's trade out. We got another nice little banner here we can stick on our archer dude. I'm not going to get too cute though with strategizing the kingdoms. The Battanians are here. As far as I know, Fiend champions are still badass in this update. This is more strategy again, right? He's there. I'm disorganized. Don't take any risk, right? Turn the other direction until your disorganized status goes away, and then I can triangulate my castle. The sturgeons here are ripping it, and this is probably a good sign from a balance perspective, right? In a lot of campaigns, the sturgeons just get their shit shoved in. The Nords fuck them up here. The Northern Empire or the Battanians eat their lunch down here. This is a great sign. Now, I'm not playing the sturgeons because I want to dominate. I'm playing them because I want to experience what it's like to play Sturgia. Sturgia and Vanilla Bannerlord is absolutely... They're not only the red-headed stepchild, they're the red-headed stepchild that fell down the stairs when they were 5, and now they're like paraplegic. They are so disabled. Let's donate some prisoners here. Is this Caladog? Caladog's in the prison here. It's hilarious. What's up, dude? Have some more of your scuzz Battanians here. And we'll get paid for these guys too, yeah? Oh yeah. We're making some good money now. Looks good. 50 influence for that. Right. Nice. Alright, now let's look at our army here. What kind of deserters are we going to get? Well, we've got an incredibly eclectic army. It's a total mix, right? This is why you want to check it. If you're going to do what we're suggesting here, running over the limit, make sure on a regular basis, I don't know, every 10 minutes, come in here and just hit this button. That's all you got to do. And then our worst troops at the bottom, these guys are going to desert because we have too many troops, right? We're also, of course, going to get at some point or other, we're going to get these Battanians to desert us too. Can't handle this on our own. We cannot attack that and live. 16 Fiend champions. This is another good change with this mod. Early in a Bannerlord campaign, this force here would have 0 Fiend champions, or maybe 1. They might have like 1 Fiend and no Fiend champions. We're early in this campaign, and our enemy forces already, they're already menacing. I think that's fucking great. It really does remind me of Diablo Nightmare mode, right? And of course, it's called Nightmare Sails. I haven't asked the Jarl, but maybe that's the intent here, right? On some level, maybe Jarl Snow played Diablo 2 or whatever in Nightmare mode. Maybe the newest Diablo. I haven't played the newest one, right? I'm just an old timer here, so I'm not I'm not savvy on all the latest new games, but you know, I imagine they still kept it for the new one, right? Where you can face off against whatever, all the bosses and these badass characters. What do we have here? Hello? What's up? We got a siege to join. Beautiful, right? Let's pick up some extra troops here. And we got to fight this, right? You auto-resolve and just horrific losses? Hell no. You want to click that as fast as we can. There's no way I'm suffering 25 losses here. All right, what do we got here? I don't recognize this village at all. It looks like a congested mess is what we have. But this is why archers are so important in Bannerlord. You got archers, any landscape is fine. Make a little choke hole right here, a little choke point. We're gonna have a choke hold too.
Onwards!
Let's take a look at this infantry and see how bedraggled they look. We've got a shooting gallery to either side here. This is also one of the strange parts, and I've directed this question to Tailworlds. If you're going to make the shipboard raids or sea raids or however you want to call them, if you're going to make those where the enemy's basically waiting for you and it's difficult to handle, well, one of the problems with that is that makes these kind of village raids really easy because you're the one that gets to set up defense. That's a huge distinction in a battle like this, right? The enemy's coming to us. They're being pounded by archers. We got archers in the woods waiting for them. If you have to come to them in the shipboard battles, it would make sense that they have to come to you, or you have to come to them also here. They should be defending the village is what I'm advocating, right? These guys should be set up with like a watchtower and shit like that. And slingers hiding behind sheds and stuff like that. Instead, they come to you, and because of that, of course, they're extremely vulnerable. The next thing you know, they're hitting the jugular with a sharp object. Our infantry charges here, and I'm just going to carve right through these battalions. I need full health for this battle to come. Usually me saying I need full health before this battle to come is preceded by an 80 shot to the jugular. All right, cruised right through, and we were losing horrific troops to auto-resolve. We lost one guy, right? It's just I probably emphasize it too much, but the guys auto-resolving their way through a campaign, my God, man, you might as well go into the bathroom, put all your money in the toilet and flush it. Like, it's obviously it's not an exact analogy, but you're really wasting a lot of your resources. All right, this is nice. We get some extra Battanian forces. Now, those are scrub troops, but when you break into a castle, like we're about to do, or, you know what? These guys are going to attack beforehand. Man. Oh, shit. We got a problem again. Engaging thwack. Engaging thwack. We're going to capture this whole minor clan here. I want one of these armies at a time. Here's another good tip. Don't run where they corner you both. Fight them one at a time here. We'll take them. Not only that, we're over our limit. I don't think we'll get both. We only get one, right? I think. Beautiful, right? And so this guy is probably going to run because we're going to be able to obliterate this guy. And then the other guy's going to be like, oh, shit. I don't have any help here. I'm out of here. Do a few perks here. Might as well keep piling up the benefits. Yeah. I don't know if I've done. I think we did one tournament at the beginning and got mangled. I'm going to keep these points here. I don't really have a purpose for them right now. I guess we can continue to slowly boost our athleticism. We are going to get on the water here soon. We're up to 20 grand. I could get caught in a chain of events though too. These Battanians are storming through here. Maybe we'll make sure we have safety here before we wrap this episode up. This is also why we're going to do some editing. Once you see a couple of these, you should understand the principle and you see how easy this becomes to just obliterate these forces. Now, here we have some skirmishers. Let's divide our infantry. We haven't been doing that. Let's go ahead and have a peasants division here too. How do we do this? Let's just have the first division can be a fodder division, right? These guys there are a lot of Battanians in there too, right? We can just send those guys to their death. Our 6th division now, all these guys. Oh, we got them combining here, right? We've got 18 archers in there. I want to fix that. That happens when the leader of that division has bow skill, right? This guy, I think he's equipped with a bow, and so he's pulling in archers. I want that division to be skirmishers. In fact, we have a skirmisher captain. Our skirmisher captain must be laying in the dirt somewhere. We got bunch of peasants there. And see what you do here. These guys are free. I can go to any Botanian village and get more of those guys. So at some point in this battle, you just send them in while the rest of your units are pounding, pounding the enemy with javelins. And our main guy's in charge of a division moving fast. Yeah, shouldn't be a problem.
After me.
We'll keep that first division back initially here. All right, so let's put some archers up on this hill. Archers, you know, shoot further. We'll have to have them kite down the valley. We want this 4th division to kite first, though. We're doing that because that 4th division has a speed banner. Yeah, until you get multiple speed banners, the division that you want to kite the fastest, you put them closer to the enemy so that they're the ones that are dealing with the need to kite early in the battle. And I forget they have 370 kitchen knives. It feels like a Cutco commercial right there. How about this sharp knife? You want to buy this sharp knife? How about this one? How would that feel in the chin? I bet that seems sharp to you. And we've got these skirmishers here. Not going to start shooting yet. They're on hold fire. Let's get these guys up the hill here. Our cavalry's just back there. I don't want to even think about them in the short term. This skirmisher division can unleash a huge volley of javelins. Some of them are going to hit shields, but like we've been talking about, right? They've got a lot of units that don't have shields. Not going to go well against skirmishers and being flayed. They threw a couple throwing axes there and they bailed, and that's the worst thing the AI could do, right? They just essentially gave us additional time to kite. I'm bringing in cavalry behind them. Where's that peasant division, right? They're chasing our skirmishers here. I don't want these skirmishers to get killed. These are our good troops. We're trying to upgrade. Come here, volunteers. Quite literally volunteers. You guys can get your asses in there. We're starting to catch up to our troops here. You can bring cavalry in here to sort of screen and provide a little distraction in the short term. And now, you let your little peasants. I don't give a shit. Those guys can get pulverized while our skirmishers get clear. Now we can charge with our skirmishers. And that little peasant division buys us a bunch of time here, right? The javelins are still raining in. The arrows are still raining in. Not bad. It wasn't worthless. And by the time they finally do get to our lines, these guys are going to be so weakened that they're going to go pretty quick. Very minimal casualties here. Power bar looks close. They're tier 5. They're upgraded. They have shields. And they still don't have a chance in hell. Alright, so far so good. We're rolling through. It's getting harder though, right? The lords are ominous, right? The lords with 250 units, and it's not Caladog with 250. Ordinarily, that would be like one of the high-end lords for a kingdom. So far, so good, though, right? We know we're in for challenges, though, in this campaign. And I can tell you already, it's manifestly more difficult, for sure, than regular Bannerlord. And we're going to get on the ocean, where nasty foes await us on the water. We're going to wrap this episode up here with this successful battle. You know, the upgrades, we only got 8 there. You know why that's happening? Our fucking whole army is upgraded at this stage. You start looking at the tiers, that's why, right? We have, in a very short period of time, formed a mercenary doomstack, and we're going to be able to wreck some shop with this army. We're going to turn some of these prisoners over here to this castle, but we're going to wrap this episode up. Thanks for watching, friends. I appreciate you following our channel. Check this mod out, right? Hit that endorse button. It really helps mod makers. Just like me asking you at the end of episodes, please hit that like button. You share this channel with other players. There are a lot of guys that are thrilled to find our channel. Some guys hate when they find our channel. They're like, fuck this guy. He talks too much, and I can't stop watching his Bannerlord content. Greatest compliment of all. Are you serious? This gal's going to attack us? Well, I think we'll kill her off camera. Although we'll see. We might have a sequence of battles, so I'm just going to keep talking. But I'm going to end this episode right here. I appreciate your patronage. I appreciate you watching our channel. I appreciate you hitting that like button. If you leave some salty comments, I won't appreciate it, but that is your right to do so. Thanks again for watching, friends, and I will see you next time. Let's teach this gal what a reverse slope decline is. We're still recording. We got skirmishers. This is going to be savage. Let's feed her some more. Actually, we don't have any troops I want to sacrifice. We're going to do just a straight reverse slope decline here. If you've never seen one, we'll attach this at the end here. It's incredibly devastating, even in the mercenary stage. This little steep hill, the enemy has to come over this to attack us. We outnumber them already, so I have no idea what this gal's doing, unless she's interested, maybe, right? This is the medieval equivalent of a wink or a swipe left or whatever you young guys say. Maybe she just wants a phone number here. We're going to give her a javelin in the teeth. Our first date is going to include some violent action against her force. So you just put some troops here towards the edge. I'm going to use our cavalry strategically, like we've been doing so far. I'm going to try to break up their lines a little bit as they come in. And the biggest key here is their ranged units won't be able to use their ranged units until they're pounded. We've got these skirmishers here. Going to throw lethal javelins at close range. The archers will be firing away. And in order to show you this, I'm just going to wait till they're close and send our cavalry across the battlefield here. Nice little distractionary agency. They're not attacking at all. They're strictly there to draw fire, to draw attention, to pull some of these units away from the top of this ridge. That way, when they come over, it's not the whole band, right? And a few of them probably get killed. They're charging right through nasty enemy forces. And watch these poor fucks come over this ridge here. Could not be in a much worse position. You can hear them attacking, and there's your lethal accuracy. Some javelin unit just absolutely smoked my character in the face with like no visibility. It still smoked me. Their archers probably won't even come over the ridge till their infantry's dead. Now we charge. Everybody can charge. They're not going to reach our archers, right? Because they're being absolutely mauled here by our frontline infantry. And all those different factors leads to a lot of dead Britannians. These fuckers here. Drilling our troops. It's amazing they're not killing them. I'm surprised these guys aren't all one shot. Maybe those are upgraded units they're hitting. Probably is. This battle's over. And now this episode's over. This guy here. I mean, they inflicted some damage on us, but that's fine. We're piling up the Britannian lords.